Old school vape review of the Wismec Bambino RDA. So the Wismec Bambino is a low-profile RDA that was released somewhere around July 2015. It was designed by Jabo and manufactured by Wismec. So even back then, Jabo was working with Wismec, which I didn't know until I looked it up. There weren't a ton of in-depth reviews for this RDA, so I don't know a whole lot about whether people liked it or not. But I see that a lot of people at least felt like it was a very stylish dripper at the time. Not so much these days, but yeah. Okay, so let's quickly go over the features. It's made of 303 stainless steel, has 6 air inlet holes for large airflow, unique vortex flow design of the top cap, and it's 22 millimeters in diameter and 25.5 millimeters height. Those are all their claims. That's from their website. They claim that the artful design of the coil deck made it nearly leak-proof. And if you look at some of the reviews for this, a lot of people actually had a different looking deck than what I have. I think that they got an early version, and then for some reason Wismec decided to change it. So I have the deck that has the middle post has 2 holes in it. Well, it's one big hole, but 2 screws. The early version had only 1 screw, 1 hole, and it was the same screws as the negative posts, the negative post screws. So they did change it. So it is very low profile. One thing that I don't care for so much is the metal drip tip, because metal gets hot. But also something to keep in mind is that this was designed in 2015 when people weren't doing a lot of really low sub-ohming and high wattage vaping. It was happening, but just not as much. And this was probably designed more for that crowd. The deck isn't very big, so you do have to build somewhat small coils. Those negative screws, the flathead screws, they kind of suck. They're not very deep, so the screwdriver doesn't catch them very well. That's pretty annoying, actually. They could have done a lot better with those screws, and they don't seem to catch very well either on the bottom. Maybe they could be a little bit more flatter. I don't know what the deal is. They just don't catch the wire very well. So you probably have to use just a basic round wire build. You can't use anything special in here because I tried Clapton's and the screws just won't catch it. So you do have to use something smaller. It's also annoying that they use 2 different screws here. They use the flatheads and then the grub screws. So you need 2 different screwdrivers for that. And the grub screws are about as small as you can get. They're not the average, the typical grub screw size that most other RDAs use or devices use. I actually had to get my toolkit out and get all of my hex wrenches, and I had to use the smallest one, which was a 005. You will have to get a different hex wrench if you don't have one for this. You'll notice that there are some ridges on the side of the deck there, and that's where you line up the airflow holes. It seems to snap together pretty well. When I first got it, it was really stiff, so you might have to juice up those O-rings a little bit with some PG or something, or your e-juice even. I know a lot of people do that just to get it to so you can take the top cap off and on, or the barrel. The 510 pin doesn't really come out very far, so you wouldn't want to use it on a hybrid device. So you can see it's really small. This is on the Predator, and it's very low profile too. But let's give it a shot. Well, what am I at? 0.15 ohms, 99 watts. Yeah, so high wattage doesn't do well on here. Your mouth is just too close to those coils. That was 31 watts. Let's take it up to 40. You can get some pretty good vapor production. You can push, I suppose, a decent amount of watts. I'm at 40. I don't know if I want to take it much higher than that because, like I said, the coils are just so close to the mouthpiece that it just gets hot. The flavor is pretty good though. It's not amazing, but it's decent, and that's with all of the airflow holes open. So somewhat restricted. It's not great, not a ton of airflow, but that's really not what this atomizer was designed for. So I'm going to close it off to 4 airflow holes. Yeah, it gets more restricted. You can definitely notice a change. And now let's do 2, and you can only do 2 at a time. You can't do one airflow. You can't do one airflow hole because it's on both sides, and there's no way of blocking off one side. And with the 2 airflow holes open, it's very restricted. It's almost like a mouth to lung RDA. Maybe still a little bit too airy for mouth to lung. Maybe if you did it to half of an airflow hole. Yeah, so you get close to mouth to lung. But if you like restricted airflow, you can do that with this. I don't know. It's okay. I like that it's low profile, and I like how small it is. It would be cool on a smaller device. For higher wattage, not good at all. But if you like restricted airflow and lower wattages, you know, maybe a max of 50, I think probably 40, even 30 might be better for this. Then if you like those kinds of wattages, I think you might like it. Nothing all that unique about it either, but like, other than the size. And you can't get it for like, I think I paid $5. So $5 or $10, it's not bad.